In this video, I'm going to be telling you why I loved the film The Quiet Girl.
Ní gá duit rud ará chuoine gur sin a gcónaí. Is omí duine nar thógann de a bhéalach am dúnta is a chail mór an dá bhar.
Now, I believe this film came out in 2022 and it kind of just did the award cycle, so it was nominated for an Oscar, I believe, and probably a few other things. And I watched this film about a month ago now, and I just found it so incredibly moving and touching. So I just wanted to tell you why I really enjoyed it and why I love it. So first of all, just to give you a little plot summary of the film, it is set in the 80s and it is about a little girl in Ireland called Kate, or Kite, something like that. And she has 3 older sisters and she has a little brother on the way and 2 parents, and essentially she is a bit neglected in her life. She's not taken care of the best simply because there are so many other kids around her, and also her parents are struggling for money. Her dad is a gambler and a bit of an alcoholic, so she goes without the attention that she essentially deserves and isn't neglected a little bit, and because of this she is very much in her shell and is very much a quiet girl. So for the school holidays, her parents decide to send her away to some of her mum's relatives so she can spend the summer with them to simply get her out of their hair while they make way for the new baby and while the baby is born. So she goes to stay with her relatives and ends up having an amazing summer and ends up really bonding with this couple who are her relatives, and just ends up really flourishing from the love and care and attention that she receives from this couple that she has never received in her life. So that's the general plot of the film, and in the film they do speak Gaelic, so it is subtitled. So I think the thing with this film is it's a really simple film, and it's a really simple premise. It's actually based on a book called Foster, which I would very much like to read after watching this film. But yeah, it's really simple, but it's just a film that completely sneaks up on you and you're just sobbing your eyes out by the end and not even realising kind of what was happening and the impact that this film was having on you and the grip that it was getting on you while watching it. And the acting is so good, it's so nuanced, it's so understated, but really good and heartfelt. The little girl who plays Kate is phenomenal, she's amazing, and just every performance in this is so good. I think especially from the couple that end up looking after her, their performances are so subtle but so effective. I also really like the language and the fact that it is Gaelic and you have to have subtitles. I loved hearing the language because it's so interesting, because it almost sounds like English but it's not, and just like a really beautiful language in general that was really nice to hear. And every single shot in this film is beautiful. There's so many greens and yellows. That's kind of the motif running throughout this film. Every shot is a work of art, even if they're just showing a field or a forest or a kitchen. Every single shot of this film, every still that you could possibly take, is extremely beautiful and very pleasing to watch. And obviously this film is set in Ireland, they talk Gaelish, and it is just so quintessentially Irish, which I really enjoyed. Being part Irish myself, it was just really nice to get fully immersed in that language and that culture. I think one of the standout things for this film is the bonds that are formed between Kate, the little girl, and her 2 guardians. It's such a beautiful and pure bond, and I'm not going to spoil the film at all, but the couple who are looking after her have gone through some things, but despite that, they're just the most loving couple ever and just want to give this child love. That's all they want to give her. They want to give her love and attention, and as soon as Kate kind of accepts this, the bond that they form together is so beautiful, and she forms bonds individually with each of them. So forms a bond with the woman quite early on, and then by the end of the film has a bond with the man that is such a strong father-daughter bond, but they're not actually related, and it's very much found family bond that she has formed with this man that is extremely beautiful and touching to see. Just so much love between these 2 people. And I found this film very feel good, even though it is quite heartbreaking as well at the same time. it just made me feel good, because it was just the bare parts of the story were loads of elements of love, and so it made me feel very good watching it. And I think just how beautiful it is in general just makes you feel really good after you've seen it. Watching this film, it fully just made me want to look after a child so much. It made me just want to look after a child and give them the full love and attention that they deserve. I really like the music in it as well. The score was so heartfelt as well, very touching. I can just hear the score and tears come to my eyes. Yeah, I think the score really complements the cinematography and the acting and the story really well. I think when you finish watching this film, it's a heartbreaking film that creeps up on you, and I think there'll be very few people who have dry eyes at the end of this film. But the end, and I think that comes from the whole film, but also the end scene itself is very, very powerful. Without spoiling too much, there's a shot at the end where Kate is running towards her relative, the man. She's running towards him and launches herself into his arms, and they embrace. And just in that embrace, you just feel all the feelings, all the emotions that they've experienced that summer, and how strong the bond that they have formed is. And as they're embracing, Kate's real dad is coming down the drive, and Kate says daddy to say like, my dad's coming, and then she says daddy a second time and hugs the guy, and it's kind of just a confirmation of found family, and you don't have to be your parents don't have to be biological. The people who parent you don't have to be the people who gave birth to you and actually created you. And it was kind of just her acknowledgement of, in my mind, you're my dad, like you're more of a father figure to me, which was truly, truly beautiful. And honestly, just it's heartbreaking, but it's nice. It's like just so bittersweet and heartbreaking, which is just essentially how I would describe this film, to be honest. Bittersweet, heartbreaking, wholesome, but yeah. Whoa. So yeah, the end shot of this film is really, really good. I think it's really well done. I think it ends in a good way. And I think really just the reason that I love this film so much is just, it's so simple, but it's so captivating and will get you, will creep up on you, and you'll probably be in tears by the end of it. And I just think the message of it is just really important, just that every child deserves love and attention. Every single child deserves love, which is of course a message that I completely get behind. And I think it's just this tale of found family, as I've said, that just tells it so beautifully and in such a perfect, wholesome, almost childlike way, but also is extremely heartbreaking. Yeah, just a really, really good film, and one that I think you watch and you'll be thinking about it for a long time afterwards. At least I was. It's been a month and I still think about it. If I think about certain scenes, I just end up a puddle of tears, essentially. So I would highly recommend anyone to watch this film, because I just loved it so much. And it is an easy watch. I think it is quite emotionally, maybe like a little bit emotionally draining, but it is an easy watch, and it is extremely beautiful and extremely captivating. So I would encourage anyone to watch it. It's kind of can deal with heavy things, but without being heavy. It kind of tackles these subjects and issues without being too heavy, and without showing kind of like actual abuse, which is quite nice. And yeah, I would just highly recommend it. It's just phenomenal acting, phenomenal cinematography, phenomenal music, phenomenal story, phenomenal ending. Just a really beautiful film, and that is why I love it so much. So that is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I've convinced you to watch this film, because I would just highly recommend that anyone give it a watch. I think it is very deserving of a watch, and it's not very long either. So yeah, please watch this film. It's very good, and I think it's very important as well. But yeah, thank you for watching. That is the end of this video. Yeah, bye.